then it would be like, okay, well, it's stupidly small, but it's at least got a lot of games on it. But no. We're going to have 4 games. Oh, but wait, it just gets even better. The Game Gear Micro is going to cost $50. And there's going to be 4 different color versions. There's going to be a black one, a blue one, a yellow one, and a red one. Each with 4 games that are completely unique to each system. 4 different versions with 4 different games. What? How could anyone think this is a good idea? If you were to buy all of them and wanted the entire Game Gear Micro experience, you would be paying $200 for 16 Game Gear games. I'm pretty sure you could find a fully working recapped Game Gear with 16 games for less than $200. Now, I'm not sure if it'd be the same 16 games. I'm not entirely sure if any of the games on these Game Gear Micros are going to be, incredibly expensive or incredibly rare titles. But this is just absurd. There is no scenario where this is a good idea. I genuinely can't believe this thing is real. Like, I thought this was a joke, but apparently no. This is going to be a real thing that is going to come out, and I don't see a way where it's a good idea. $200 for 16 Game Gear games is absolutely ridiculous. You can easily go onto the 3DS eShop and download all these games for far less, and then at least you get to display them on a proper size screen. Like, I'm pretty sure the Game Gear Micro screen is going to be an inch, like 1 inch by 1 inch, because the Game Gear had a square screen because everything was in 4:3, but I'm pretty sure the screen on this thing is going to be like an inch big by an inch big. Inch long, inch tall. And some of these games I know are text heavy. Text heavy games in tiny little text boxes at the bottom of a 1 inch screen. Oh, I don't know why. I can't understand why this was conceived in this way. Like, you can't have text-heavy games on something that's got a smaller screen than the VMU. You just can't. Now, I have never, ever recommended doing this, but if your only choices are buying a Game Gear Micro or using an emulator, I would honestly just say download an emulator, find some ROMs online, and I never condone emulation. I don't like using emulators. I mean, sometimes I will use them to like test out like a really rare game or something before I spend the money to buy a physical version. Or sometimes I'll just muck around on an emulator to use like cheats and stuff after I own the original game, but I do not recommend using an emulator, but that is the better option here. Because the Game Gear Micro is a straight up ripoff. It just is. So, to conclude, the Game Gear Micro is overpriced. It has mediocre library. Now, don't get me wrong, there are good games here. There are good games here, but the library is stupidly small. And it's just baffling. Like, 4 games on each system. We have an overpriced system that has a lackluster game library, and it's absolutely tiny. Now, obviously it's not come out yet, so I haven't actually, held one, but my guess is it's not going to feel very high quality. It looks like a cheap free toy you get in like a McDonald's meal or a cereal box or something. It doesn't look good. I'm not saying it's going to be absolute garbage, but it doesn't give a very good first impression. It looks cheap. But the profit margin on this thing must be ridiculous, because there's no way it costs like $45 to make one of these. It just doesn't. If this was like a little novelty thing that costs like, $20 or something, I'd be like, right, okay, you know what? It's not for me. I wouldn't recommend it, but as a cheap little thing, it'd be fine. But $50 for 4 games is a rip-off. It's absurd. You can get these games much cheaper anywhere else. Might be harder to find the actual original cartridges and a working Game Gear, but I believe you can get a Game Gear with 16 games for cheaper, like I've already said. And you can probably download these games on the 3DS. I'm not sure if all of them come to the Switch. I don't know if Game Gear games are currently on the Switch. I don't think they are. I haven't checked, but there definitely was some on the 3DS. And there were on the Wii Virtual Console, but the Wii's been shut down online. I don't know if they came to the Wii U. But still, if you're just looking to play some Game Gear games, buy a 2DS and download them off the eShop. It will be cheaper to do that. It'll be better value because you could get other 3DS games. You could download other games from other consoles. Or just use an emulator if you have to. Because the Game Gear Micro is stupid. That's the best description for this thing. Stupid. So that's all for this video. I know it's a bit shorter than usual, but honestly, there wasn't a ton of stuff to talk about with this, but I needed to talk about this thing. As you've heard, it's so absurd. At the time I filmed this, the PS5 event has just happened, so I will be making a video on that in the near future. I've already got notes on all the games that have been released, but if you want my quick thoughts right now, I thought the event was great. I'm looking forward to a lot of the games coming out. The design of the PS5 is definitely strange, but I think it actually looks pretty good. It definitely has personality, unlike the design of the Series X, in my opinion. But I will be making a video discussing my opinions on the console itself, talk about the hardware, talk about all the games that were shown, and just the event in general in a later video. That will be coming. I don't know when it'll be uploaded. It's just entered very, very early scripting stages, so we'll see. So, thank you all for watching this video. I hope you've all enjoyed it. Let me know if there's anything you'd like to see me cover in a future video, and I will definitely consider making a video on it. I'll hopefully be back for the foreseeable future, but I'm just going to say this now, there will not be a consistent upload schedule, as my home Wi-Fi is absolutely awful, and uploading videos that are, 15 to 40 minute long, and that are either in 1080p or 4K, is going to take a really, really long time. The content will come out eventually. So, thank you all again. Check out some of my other videos if you're interested, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.